right? Or pre-multiplying, right? I consume 3 units of this good, right? What does it mean? Well, then I have 3 units of C1, right? 3 units of C21. Notice that some of these could be 0. The motorbike does not provide any drinking characteristic. The bread doesn't provide any sheltering characteristic. So some of those are 0. Right? And so on. How much of characteristic 1 do I consume? That plus 2, if I consume 2 of commodity 2, 0 of commodity 3, etc. Right? You just add up and it tells you what is the total amount of characteristic 1 you consume. Why is this useful? Well, among other things, if the mapping is linear, you can do arbitrage pricing. Take a simple example. I have commodity 1 with characteristic vector 1, 0. And I have commodity 2 with characteristic vector 0, 1. 2 commodities, 2 characteristics. Right? This has the price P1, this has the price P2. Now I am an innovator. I produce commodity 3, which has characteristics vector epsilon and gamma. What's the maximum price at which P3 can be marketed? Well, it has to be less than this. Right? Because if I try selling this at a higher price, people will recombine by using that basket. It's elementary, it provides a lower bound only, right? But it says, look, if your cost, the time for but it does tell you when it becomes convenient to innovate a commodity. It becomes convenient when the cost of producing it is such that you can sell it at a price lower or equal than that. As long as the cost of producing it forces you to a price higher than that, even if it is technologically feasible, you won't produce. In my opinion, this is a very reasonable way of understanding why in certain instances many innovations get delayed. They get delayed because some factors that produce other commodities are so abundant that that commodity, even if it is a more primitive one, or a less sophisticated, less innovative, whatever you want to call it, it's just cheaper. It's just cheaper. And so it's not convenient. When the price becomes low enough, then it becomes convenient. Right?
But these characteristics, they can also be negative.
That's a good point. So, yes, but it becomes a lot more complicated.
Because like social status, maybe if there's like one commodity that is really like not makes you unpopular or something, probably it gives negative utility or something like that.
This is a big limit of, oh, this is one of you. Okay, somebody that forgot the set. This is a big limit of market analysis. Social status is not something marketed, and so we can't really put it into this. You can put it in the utility function, but it doesn't have really. Some people have tried. I mean, Gary Becker tried quite a bit of doing that, right? But there are things traded in social relations that are not market traded. It's unclear how they are traded. How do we trade our status? How do we trade our sympathy or antipathy? Right? We can always claim that there is an underlying price, there is a shadow price, there is a cost of being simpatico, there is a cost of being antipatico, there is a cost of being powerful, there is a cost of not being powerful. Yes. But there is a hard time doing it in this form. At least I do. The same is true in general for the bad things. So things that affect you negatively. Now we're going to go back to the externality thing. So we can take it up again next week at this point. In the theory of competitive equilibrium, for example, the standard thing we saw, if you notice, people tend to assume free disposal, right? Notice that we tend to assume free disposal means that you can always dispose of some output at no cost. Disposing of some output at no cost means that all the goods you produce are good, right? In fact, the assumption of free disposal is very useful to show that all prices are positive. Because if they were not, then you would make, if they were negative, you could make infinite profit by just disposing of a good. Right? If there is free disposal and I can dispose of output, it means I can go to negative output. But then if the price is negative, negative gives me positive, so I can make infinite profit by just disposing of an infinite amount of something with a negative price. That's nonsense. So with free disposal, all prices have to be positive. Right? That's a very simple argument. Point is that this implies that everything that is in the output vector has positive social value. So there are no bads. So if you want to handle bads, you have to change things and you have to eliminate free disposal. So you have to put technologies that prevent people from disposing of output. That you can actually do. But when you start getting to a strictly non-tradable object like the one you mentioned, social power, then we have to change apparatus. I mean, it can be done, but we have to change it. You have to start thinking about power, what power provides me. I have to start writing, power may provide me utility directly, just by the feeling of it, or utility indirectly, because there is some social extraction or surplus function, in which there's you, me, and him, and depending on social status, I extract something from the two of you, you extract something from the two of us, and so on, right? But it's no longer representable through a market, competitive or not, because we're not trading objects, really. Right? I'm forcing you to do something, you're forcing me to do something, it becomes a different game. So, no, those things with this, no. I wouldn't know, I wouldn't be able to tell you how to do it. Okay? All right. So I'll send you an email and